Now he's been under Doc for a while now. He's under Ty Lue at this point in time. And so uh, I think that, Chauncey Billups, he won. I think that it was great for him to be able to pick his brain. I know they wanted Jason Kidd. I know he wanted him, but he within the same at the same level as Jason Kidd. But in terms of what he's done for the league and his accomplishments, they're right neck and neck. We have to realize that when some of the great point guards that have played the game have went on to become coaches. Now you see Steve Nash, he was a two-time MVP. Some people call him one of the greatest. Okay, you can't hear me. Okay, hold on. All right, look. Um, hey, press one if you can hear me now. Okay, I don't know. Goat Mike said that he could hear me. So, but anyways, like I was saying, this is a good hiring for Portland. I think that Dame does need an individual like Chauncey Billups because he can definitely pick his brain. He is a champion. You cannot deny that. He did it on his highest level. That a lot of people don't realize that 2004 Pistons team was one of the best teams to play without having just that micro that microscope superstar in terms of just having that one superstar on there. They play team basketball, and he was definitely able to be a floor general on that team. And so, who better than to have somebody a part of your organization that was able to bring a championship pedigree to that squad, and he did it. He did it while he was in his prime. That's no knock on Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd did it when he was late in his years, but nevertheless, both of them will be Hall of Famers. Now, some people don't believe that Chauncey Billups should be in the Hall of Fame. I feel that he should. That's just my opinion. Now, is he first ballot? No, he's not a first ballot, but he definitely does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But I think that Portland they will be able to be somewhat successful after that. After hiring him. Now, my biggest question is who's going to be a part of his staff. That's the main question. We got to see who's going to be a part of his staff, um, and how they're going to work that thing out. Because either way, you could get a new coach, you could get a new staff and everything, but you still have to go out there and execute. So y'all let me know what you think. I'm gonna put the link in here. If you want to speak on it, you can. If not, I'm gonna just go ahead and move on because we got lots of other stuff to cover today. We're gonna be getting into some boxing because there's some things going on with that too as well. But like I said, I think it's a great move by Portland, and I just absolutely love it. Not to be, you know, uh, we shall overcome and none of that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I love the fact that they hiring brothers, you know, in these coaching positions. Now, true enough, they did have Nate McMillan. You know, they did have Nate McMillan. But I just think that it's a great move, and I'm happy for Chauncey Billups. I think that he's well deserving. My next people that I really want to be see on that level, you know, regardless of what anybody thinks, because I know that there's some people that are gonna come and try to, you know, be like, ah, well, he ain't gonna make it or anything like that. No, you got to give the guy a chance. He was an assistant, just like Ty Lue was an assistant, just like Doc was an assistant at one time, just like all these people. They had to start somewhere. I'm ready to see several people to get that opportunity, especially like Jawan Howard at the professional rank, when he gets ready, you know, and decides he wants to make that move. And then also Anthony Hardaway, also known as Penny Hardaway, whenever he decides that he wants to leave Memphis because he chose to stay. And then, of course, my man Sam Cassell, which really everybody is just really sleeping under the rug. And then also you got Wes Unseld Jr. that's with Denver as well, which nobody's talking about. So, South Political, man, you have the floor. What do you think about this hiring?
Going on? Appreciate the man on the panel once again. Shout out to the chat too as well. Go Mike, get out your feelings and nobody else more that deep. But once again, um, it's good to see a former player like Chauncey Billups get an opportunity. But we know this hiring is all about, making, you know, making your star player happy and Dame Lillard, man. At the end of the day, how I look at it is, no matter really what coach they have, if they don't if they don't continue to grow and advance and really compete for anything, Dame Lillard is Dame, in my opinion, Dame Lillard gonna eventually have more problems with the organization. I know he initially wanted a coach like Jason Kidd. I don't know what his systems were when it comes to Billups, but I'm glad to see Billups get a hire. And it's so much to me. I've talked about this before. It's so much pressure on coaches, especially in their first year of coaching the organization, to do so much, man. And it's a lot of pressure for him to come in and ideally in this short window take them to the next level with a star player who's looking to make to contribute and see his team elevate to that next level, right? It's a lot of pressure on these coaches, man, in a small window of time. Just look at the Tyrone Lue situation. It's his first year coaching the team, and they just supposed to go get to the final. I mean, a lot of people see they should just make it to the final, no matter what, even with their best player. Every game they lose, he's doing a bad job. You know, but with the Billups, I mean, I'm glad to see Billups. I hope he do well, but I don't even think you know a coach having coaches doing a good job can be overshadowed by the prospect of either star players that's been with a franchise and looking for a little bit more, looking for their team to get better and improve. I still feel like they still got to make some personnel adjustments to really be considered a contender. Because if they just go in next season with another coach, I mean, how do you feel about that, Paulo? You feel like that's enough to make them a true contender, just bringing in a coach like Billups, or do they need to add more personnel acquisitions, whether it's trades, free agency, whatever it may be?
That's a very good question, and I had actually that I had spoke on that. I don't know if you heard. You said you didn't hear me in the
Yeah,
beginning of the video, but
when I came when I came into and I clicked on your channel, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't even know if you were talking or not. And then right before I said something, you came in. kind of came
Right,
in.
right.
I assume you had been talking. You just we couldn't hear you.
Okay, no problem. But let me answer your question. Let me answer your question.
Okay.
What I was trying to tell you is that I'm right on point with what you said. This isn't enough, and that was one of the questions that I raised. Sal, is okay. They have this, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is going to be like, who's a part of your staff, and also what type of, like you said, personnel adjustments are you going to make, because that's not enough. This is a one step forward in terms of, really, I'm looking at Dame. Okay, I'm looking at Dame in terms of the first step forward. That, because they're both point guards. Regardless of what people want to think about Dame, whether he's a scoring point guard, whether he's not much of a facilitator and all this other stuff,
Yeah.
he's still a point guard. Okay, and he still has command. He's the main player. He's the franchise player, and he's the one that is the floor general on that floor. So he's going to be the one that's going to be, have the best, in my opinion, the best relationship with him in terms of the personal standpoint. Now they will have to get some key defenders on their squad. That's just my opinion. Defense was definitely something that they needed, and they also need, that guy that they could depend on in terms of another punch. Because C.J. McCullough as much as we like to sit here and say how valuable of a player he was, he came up short sometimes. He sat at the table with guys like at one time it was Paul George when he was coming up small sometimes, and Chris Middleton when he was coming up small. Shit, I wouldn't say he was as bad as Joe Harris or anything, but he came up small when they needed him. But I think they need that other punch in terms of defense and another score.
Yeah. This is the thing to me. To be to be honest with you, with Chauncey Billups taking this job, in my opinion, it puts him under a lot of pressure because you have still a young. I mean, can't really say young superstar. You have a star player, a veteran star player who's 31.
Hmm.
We know he's not looking for a rebuilding process. We
Hmm.
know he's ready to win and compete for a championship. So it's a lot of pressure coming in as a coach.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And trying to get him to possibly buy into what he see in the immediate future as far as how they can compete at a certain level.
Well, hey, what they say about pressure, South? What do they say about pressure in the South, South?
It either
Pressure
bust
bust
pipes or
a
make diamonds.
pipe. You already know we in the same
Or
boat.
make diamonds.
But hey, what was they saying about that '04 Pistons team? I know you remember, but a lot of people were like, well, they won't win because Chauncey Billups is not a superstar, and he's not going to do this. He constantly. I remember how they were getting on him, but what did he ended up doing? They ended up exceeding expectations and actually beating that '04 Pistons team.
Yep.
I
Now I
mean that
will say this.
'04 that '04 that
I
'04
don't feel
Lakers
like
team. I'm sorry, my bad.
I don't feel like that team had pressure because the expectations wasn't for them to win, to beat the Lakers.
Well, for Larry Brown, it was for Larry Brown and for Chauncey Billups. It was
Oh, maybe.
for Larry Brown, Chauncey Billups, mainly Chauncey Billups, and we know a couple of other people that was on it, but it was just mainly Larry Brown because Larry Brown. While I have Larry Brown as my top coach ever, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because he won at both levels. There was a lot of things about Larry Brown that a lot of people didn't know. If things weren't working out, like with Indiana, I think he just walked out. Like he had that type of reputation on him from what I heard. So,
Yeah.
but he had a lot of pressure on him. When he was in Philly, when he came from Philly and when he came from Indianapolis. My bad, son. Go ahead,
No,
bro.
he definitely made the best out of a lot of tough situations. I could agree with that.
Because they were
I,
they were
I
like
spoke
in
on that
Philly.
before.
They brought up Dave South. My bad. They brought up. Oh well, you went to Philly and you made it to the finals, but you didn't get it done. You went to Indiana. You made it almost there, but you didn't get it done. And that was the pressure that he was seeking right
Yeah, I get you saying. I get what you're saying. It makes
But I
sense.
think it's
Like
great. And I mean, what do you think? Okay, Sal, just dissecting it and dissecting Portland and just seeing what it is. What do you think? Because I'm looking at a scoring punch, and they need reliable defenders. What do you see, man?
as far as personnel wise, or
Right,
just the whole, I mean, defense has definitely been an issue with them for the past couple of years of them trying to compete in the playoffs. But
uh huh,
one of the biggest things is them. The elephant in the room for them is really trying to get a star or all star type of player that can come and play with Dane that complements his game, as well as adding defensive prowess to your team, with other players. But
right.
that's the big elephant in the room, in my opinion. Can you
Hmm.
get can you get a all star player or some or strong depth of players that complement the way that your star player plays, and which propels you and take you to that next level to compete with some of the top tier teams in the NBA. But if this situation, in my opinion, with with whatever coach they were going to hire, it's going to be a bang or bust. It's nothing in between. It's no just treading to get along. None of that. Either you're gonna have to make it happen because I don't think Dame is sitting around just waiting to waste another season to go get put out in the
Right.
first round
And,
again.
and, and South, I was finna ask you that. I'm finna put your ass on the hot seat. I'm finna ask you something because this is kind of in reference to what we talked about yesterday a little bit.
Okay.
How much time do you think Dame has to get it? Because I know some people they're like, oh, you got this much time to get it and everything. How much time do you think Dame has to get it, and how much time will you think he will allow himself in order to get that chip?
I think this just being modest, a 2 to 3 window. I don't. I'm not taking into consideration whether he's cause decides he want to stay with Portland or not. I'm just thinking a 2 to 3 window. As far when you look at his prime, I don't know how long his prime is gonna be, but we know he's at his prime right now, and we know he's not a young pup no more. He's 31. I don't know how long he can play at this level. Hopefully, he can go a lot of years playing at this level. But we know history shows, you know, once you about 31, you ain't got too many prime years left. You know what I'm saying? And I say a 2 to 3 year window, but that I'm not applying that to the situation with Portland. I don't know how much patience he has with Portland to, I guess, ideally, in his perception, get going in the right place in which he likes. You know what I mean? I just feel like Billups is in a tough situation. You know what I mean? Because if they end up some way losing a Dame Lillard, if you can't replace if you can't replace that type of talent with other pieces, I mean, what do you do with Billups? What are you bringing in Billups for? You know,
That's facts.
that's how I look at it. That's
I
why I say it's a tough situation for him.
I put it like this. Um I would give him about that 2 3 year stretch because you know a lot of people may say this. You might disagree though, South, but a lot of people may say it from my standpoint. They'll be like, well, Dame doesn't, like you just said, he doesn't have that many prime years left. He doesn't have that much time to win a chip in terms of other people's expectations. Now the reason why I mentioned earlier about okay, I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate. Let's say things don't work out, things take a turn for the worse. Now with him jumping on another squad, because in my opinion, if he jumped on another squad, like they were talking about Philly or they were talking about Golden State or him going, these other places,
Yeah,
uh, I wouldn't I wouldn't even rule that possibility out. I would be like, okay, well, you gave the organization 10 plus years. You know what I'm saying? You did what you could. Now it's time for you to do whatever you can and get be happy. Just like all these other players are doing. How do you feel about that? Him jumping on another. I already know your answer to that. Him jumping on another squad and getting chips.
Hey, I'm all about stacking the deck, making the best opportunities for yourself. If you
I
a
just
great,
wanted to, I just
if you a
wanted to
great
hear your ass say that, man. That nigga said he gonna stack the deck with confidence.
yeah, because if you greatness still gonna permeate whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it, the, the thing with me is,
uh,
I go back to this. Dame Dame kind of pigeonholed himself a couple of years back when he said, you remember when he said we had to say he gonna stay loyal and this and that. That all sound good, but you gotta understand at the end of the day, basketball is still business. It sounds good to a certain demographic of fans to say that, but you gotta remember this is a business. These people will
yeah,
get rid of you when they feel like they can get something better, or you not producing like you want to. So I don't understand why players pigeonhole themselves like that.
that's facts.
Yeah, that sound all good and nice when you the franchise player and showing that you put this optic out there, you law and commitment. But look, what been in the league 9, 10 years now, what 8, 9, 10 years now, and
Right,
what did he post? He posted after they lost. How long can I stay dedicated? What are you saying now? What are you really saying, Dane? Because you pigeonhole yourself into being loyal to just being loyal to the franchise no matter what. I mean, don't do that to yourself, man. This is a business. At the end of the day, we understand this is entertainment to us as fans, but this is a job for these athletes. Even though it's a professional job, it's still a job. When you don't produce, or when somebody feel like they can replace you, a franchise feel like they can replace you, they're gonna do that. You know what I
right.
mean?
Well, you know
Go ahead.
the owner was already O'Shea, whatever his name was. I forget his name, but he was like he already made it clear that the problem lies within the personnel. It just doesn't have to do with us getting any other pieces. He feels like he's at odds with the owner, or not, because he feels like, okay, you do have enough to win and all this other stuff. It's like he's not doing what is necessary to put him in position to win. So there's a clash right there, though, South. What you think about that,
And,
man?
and just think about this though, man. This, like I'm gonna say it again, this is a tough situation for Billups because this could be a situation where it make him look like a bad coach just because of some of the moves that could be possibly made with the acquisition of him becoming the head coach. And we've seen
Right.
that happen with other coaches. This it takes a lot of things to win. We get into these arguments. Just having great players, it's not guarantee you nothing. You gotta have general management. You gotta make the right personnel decisions to complement star players. All that. It ain't just
Right.
drop great players on the court and you gonna win with no matter what. Gotta have some kind of structure and have a direction and have some contingency behind what you're doing, man. That's what I'm
That's
saying. Like
fact.
they really gotta. I mean, everybody know the biggest issue with Portland has been their style of play. Their style of play is not really the recipe for winning championships. Just scoring the basketball and not defending. It's not. More or less teams like that don't make it past the first or second round. And which most of the results you've seen Portland pretty much do that. They did go to the Western Conference 2 years ago, but how many first and second round exits we seen this team? You know what I'm saying? Lead the playoff.
Right, and they're tired of coming up short. Listen, and I think Dame is looking at that too, South. He's looking at, okay, what is on my resume? What is on my resume right now? What am I going to do? Because the ultimate goal, I think there's some players that have individual goals, in terms of individual accolades and everything. But any player that does play in the league, their ultimate goal is to get a ring, is to
Yeah.
get that chip and everything. And I think that Dame is looking at that and he's like, man, I like what he said. How like what you talk about the post. I think that right there is a is a prime example of his frustration with the with everything that's going on. You know, because I kind of feel his frustration. And like when you were talking last night, South, in the
Yeah,
man, that is key. What you said last night in this situation right here, like them going to a Golden State or anything, I had to think about that. I had to think about him going to Golden State or him going, you know, with Philly or another situation or something like that, or like a winning squad. I had to think about it. I had to think about what South was really saying and stuff. And I'm like,
think
man,
about it.
Dame has played a lot of goddamn years and has came up short time and time again. And the owner don't want to do shit for him. It seems right.
You get why I keep harping on this. People try to act like I'm one sided on this. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not. Organization got to do what he got to do to put put their franchise in the best situation. It goes the same applies for that player. What's It's a thin line. See, we got people out here harping that these players don't want to compete, but it's a thin line between competing and putting yourself in the best situation to succeed. You get what I'm saying? And that's why you bring up a guy like Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard
Right.
is a competitor. He's a competitor, but at the same time, that franchise that goes out there and plays and competes for, they gotta they gotta make the right decisions too. And we
Right.
always had these conversations that every great player's situation is the same. No, that's why it's level to this. You know, every franchise is not as storied and as knowledgeable about being successful as the Lakers and the Celtics and certain prestige organizations that's won for decades. And we try
Right.
to act foolish like like that's not that's not something to take consideration of. Portland has had a little success, but they haven't proven that they have a recipe or understanding of knowing what it takes to continue to constantly compete for championships.
Right.
And
They haven't won a championship since Walton. Yeah,
you
since
know what
Bill
I'm
Walton.
saying? So that's why I'm gonna say it again. It's a thin line between people, this optic of people saying you don't want to compete versus you want to put yourself in the best situation to succeed. It's a thin line between it because, in my opinion, it always come down to people only make excuses for the people they like, and they harp on the people that they don't like because players always
Yeah, the
get treated
yeah,
better
yeah,
than
yeah. Take the
the
biasness
bottom.
out of it. Yeah, we got to take the
Yeah,
biasness out of it.
yeah. The Laker franchise, the Lake,
Hmm.
anybody that's a Laker fan should know the history of the Lakers. The Lakers are
Oh yeah.
always
Oh,
one of them.
oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at you opening up a can of worms. Look at you. Sorry, you know I gotta interrupt you, man. What do you think about? I wanted to get your take on it. I was hoping you chimed in on this, but I
Yeah.
spoke about it. KCP getting robbed. What do you think about that, man?
Oh, I did see that. I didn't click on it. I
Yeah, he
mean,
got.
anybody
He,
getting robbed. I don't know. See, I can't really chime in on it because I don't know the full story behind it. I don't know if he was flashing money or what
no,
happened.
no, 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 no. I'll tell you what happened. Okay. Well, of course I wasn't forefront there, but this is what's being reported. And I got the the link in the description for the article too if you want to check it out too. But listen, he was out there with three other individuals. He was standing in the driveway, and two couple men hopped out with with guns, and they robbed them, and they took jewelry, including a Rolex and $150,000, in money for with valuables and stuff too. So
I mean,
they robbed them at gunpoint.
just from hearing the story, it sounds like potentially a setup.
And that's what I was saying. That's why you got to go listen to that video. But yeah, go ahead though. You got it. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Uh, but yeah. From that sounds like a potential setup. Like I said, I don't know enough information to really determine more than what you gave me. Just based off what you gave me, that's what it sounds like. But
Right.
I was saying about the Lake organization. The Lake organization is always trying to stack the deck, put themselves in the best situation to win. They not worried about what nobody else got to say. It's a reason why they have the most, bring in the most revenue, the most fans, because they always trying to quote unquote put themselves in the best situation to be successful, aka stack the deck. Am I lying? Nah, the
I
Lakers are
mean,
always
not
trying to get the best that they can get. If it's the best player in the league or whatever.
yeah, they're willing to. Well, they're willing to definitely take risks. They are willing to take. They always try to land that marquee guy. But see what? Let me tell you about that though, South. What's
Yeah,
unique about the Lakers and Boston too as well is that they both, as storied franchise as they are, they're able to do it in both ways. Think about what I'm saying. Dually, they can do it both ways. They can land a whole bunch of free agents. They can land marquee guys, and they can also do it organically. I mean, Jerry West proved that with the development of Kobe Bryant, and then the development of the whole Shaq and Kobe era and everything, bringing in Phil and things like that. They did it organically, even though that they got Shaquille O'Neal from Orlando. And the same thing with Boston. Uh, Boston, they did it organically with Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, Parrish, DJ, all them and stuff
yeah,
like that. And then they also did it, by landing KG and landing Ray Allen and having Paul Pierce already. So they're special in both ways, man. So I've always looked at it like that.
yeah. That's what I meant as well. Like whether it's developing the top prospects or whatever, man. They don't take what I'm saying. They don't take nothing out of consideration.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't. They really don't. You
And
know
see
these
that
great
that's what the Cowboys. That's hey, am I lying though, South? That's what the Cowboys calling card used to be, and somehow, some way, they just. I'm talking about football,
yeah.
but you're a Cowboys fan. I know you can understand that, but them, they've always been kind of like that too. I've always looked at the
I would say
Cowboys.
that we were like that. We were like that for a long time.
Uh huh.
Pre Jerry Jones, and then right when we brought in Jimmy Johnson, we were like that. But then after we won our first two championships, then
Uh huh.
everything became personal with Jerry Jones. That's what's been hurting us. This everything is so personal with him.
I
You know
I
what I'm
gotta
saying?
ask you. I gotta ask you about that, South. Being that you're a Cowboys fan, yes, I know we talking about basketball, y'all, but listen, South, man, he knows his football. So I got to dive into this real quick, okay? Look, Jimmy Johnson,
Yeah.
I'd bring him into the Cowboys organization. How do you feel
But
about that? I'd bring his ass in there.
yeah, but like what I kind of answered that question, didn't I? It's a everything after he fired Jimmy Johnson. Of course, we did win one more championship, but we still had the same veteran core and star power that we had before we left. So that's why we really won that one with Barry Switzer.
Yeah,
But
that Barry Switzer. That wasn't his
yeah,
goddamn. That wasn't his team.
yeah,
Everybody know
that
that.
got to be one of the all-time vanilla coach positions ever. Just you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
the thing about it, everything became personal.
Hmm.
That's why our player development suffers because once Jerry Jones like you don't got to work as hard. You don't got to be held accountable. You don't got to be coached up. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you're not going nowhere. You a Jerry guy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So his ego superseded itself in '94, and he fired the coach to help him build the dynasty. And
That's right.
really, his ego is what implodes us. We've had is not as much talent or more talent than anybody in the league in the past couple of years. We've had nobody's had more Pro Bowlers than us other than the Patriots in the past 15 years. So we know we've had talent. It's just the way our team is being managed is one of the big reasons why we fall short of expectations.
Hmm.
You know, and that's why I feel like we wasted a lot of Romo years because our team was managed so bad. It wasn't the fact that Romo was the greatest quarterback in the league, but Romo was one of the best performers at the quarterback position. But it was the way the team was managed. It was too much pressure on him to make so many plays to win a game, and that's not how you play the game of football. Great franchises don't keep building teams for their quarterback to make all the plays for you to win. You put a running game, you put a solid running game, you put a good defense behind a good quarterback to put your team to so that you were strong enough in all facets of the game to be successful. And that was something we failed to do when Romo was our quarterback. You know, having seasons where you last in rushing and last in defense, like how much pressure you putting on your quarterback.
Right.
But we can get back into the basketball though.
No, 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 no. Well, but yeah, we are talking about basketball, but when we're talking about uh, coaching, we're talking about personnel. We're
Managing,
talking about
managing.
the business. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, we talking about all them factors because people think this all don't play a part in a big factor into being successful. You got to have great players, but you got to have great management. You got to have great management of the players and personnel. Do players have influence on personnel? Of course, but what we do have is over exaggerated, complex, and players just making every freaking move of every player. Like, come on, this is that gets ridiculous too.
Right. Yeah, but I try not
Mhm.
to. I try not to get think
Yeah,
too deep
it just gives me
into
ridiculous,
it.
man.
But what I will say this though, I was looking at Blue Chips. I know you remember that movie,
Yeah, I used to watch
and
it. Yeah,
hey, listen, uh, you know, Nick Nolte, man, in a movie, man. I mean, he did everything. He did everything. He was trying to do things the right way, right?
I got you scared to say.
He was trying to do things, the quote unquote, the right way and everything like that, right? But as soon as he saw the talent and he saw what was that friends of the program, he saw the opportunity and everything. He took a risk and he did it. But then he came to his senses, like, okay, I got to go back. I got to be myself and truly be myself. But when he did do what was necessary to win, I mean, he was being, successful at it, and everybody was happy, and everybody was doing that. But see, the reason why I bring that up, South, is that he had a mentality that it was in the right. He was willing to do anything. He was just so frustrated, stuff like that, throwing stuff in the locker room and stuff like that. That if you have that much desire to win or anything like that, you do what is necessary to do that. Now, I'm not saying do it under the table and doing all that other stuff like they did, but you have to be willing to do everything that it takes in order to be successful, though. And I'm with that. I'm 100% with you to do that the right way, though. But when you give an organization like Dame has done for 10 plus years and everything, and you're exhausted. You even you're getting injuries out of it too and stuff like that. You're like, look, I'm not getting any older, nigga. I'm about to be fucking 30, 32 years old and stuff. I don't have many years left, and you got to look at it from that standpoint.
I don't never heard none of these people bring up the Charles Barkley or some of these other players or David Robinson. And I ain't gonna say
Hmm.
David Robinson. The Charles
Yeah,
Barkley and other people done it the right way. They never won, and it's like at the end of the day, a lot of these great players say, "Man, I didn't achieve one of the ultimate goals I wanted to, winning a championship, being a part of a team, winning championship, you know."
David
And
Robinson.
I
You
mean,
you, you brought up David
I
Robinson.
didn't mean to say David Robinson. I mean like Karl Malone, great
Uh huh.
example. A Karl
Uh huh.
Malone, and all this. Like, don't nobody. A lot of people denigrate Karl Malone's career, and he's man, this dude had one of the most productive careers as an NBA star. But since he didn't win, since his team didn't win at the ultimate level,
Uh,
you know, they
well,
denigrated him.
you know the stigma on Karl Malone. I'm not even gonna get into that South, but that, I think that that's why they throw a lot of that in there too,
Yeah, yeah. But see, I don't. I look at Karl Malone. I'm not a big. I don't really.
just like they did,
It's
just
not
like they
about.
did Jason
It's
Kidd
not
with the domestic violence thing.
about-
They look at Karl Malone with that whole situation.
Yeah, but the thing about it, man, no matter what, all these people are human, man, and all of us have our own views, but we can't take away what they done on the basketball court. I'm not a big Karl Malone fan at all. Trust me, bro. I've never been a fan of Karl Malone. But you can't take away what he done on that basketball court. Can't.
Yeah, that's facts.
That's why I try to. That's why I feel I can be objective about players that I wasn't big fans of. You know, I don't look for any little thing to nitpick them. You know, that don't mean I might not have a conversation about some of the wrongful things they done, but this just constantly, you know, denigrating players that we know great players. Like it's crazy to me. Especially you, especially some of these people that didn't even watch players play and they just talk about it like, man, you don't even know nothing about this player. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so but like I said, it's a thin line between it's this big. I think it's this big facade that players don't care about winning. But as far as I know, you got a lot of players that left money on the table to go win, like a CP3, like even Carmelo did it. A lot of players have done that. So how can you say that about players like that? How much money did CP3 leave on the line to go play to leave the Clippers? He left a lot of money on the line. You know what I mean? Hold on, must win that bounced out.
Can you hear me, Sal?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. He was supposed to play with Kobe a while back, and I can
Yeah,
almost guarantee, like, if he would have did that right, they would have been like, oh yeah, well, they would have made a big deal about. Some people would have made a big deal about, oh man, you can't do that,
yeah,
da 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 da. But then when they win, they ain't got really nothing to say, So,
yeah. The people that don't like Kobe would have made a big deal out of that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's even with the trade with Paul Gasol. Like,
Hmm.
man, I don't know. This is always going on. Great franchises are trying to stack the deck, and then stack the deck. All it really mean is putting your best self in the best situation to be successful, to meet your objective goal, man.
Yeah.
I constantly bring this up. It might annoy people because when you think about it, life. Do you think about it?
No, cause
Life is
no,
about.
no, no, South. You a business owner, man.
No, this don't
You're
apply to business.
competitive.
You got to stop that, Polo. And this is what I'm trying to get you to say when you say
You don't think it's
life
about
is
that?
not about you. Not life is not about you worried about what people thinking about you. It's about you putting yourself and your family in a position of being successful.
Right,
Let
right.
me,
You
let me,
thinking
let me,
that? Oh, no, no, no. Hold on,
let
South.
me,
Let me, nah. Let me tell you something. Nah, I'm gonna let you get it out.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
go ahead.
what because now that we're on that, this is what okay, cause and this was when I was in Kilgore. Okay, this is what my uncle said, and we're amongst the family reunion committee. This is what he told me, South, and I know that you're gonna agree with this. He said you have to look at your family and your situation, you have to look at it as a business, and you have to approach everything like a business. And it was like he told me this, South, when I was like 13, 14 years old, and at that time I didn't understand what he was saying. But now that I'm doing the things that I'm doing, and then hearing you talk, and other guys that are business business owners, and I got a guy that got a barbershop too as well. It, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
And only thing I don't like, Polo, you sports, how you see sports is how you see life.
That's
I'm gonna
facts.
do a different I'm gonna do a different parallel now today. Just think
Hmm.
about Dame, right?
Hmm.
Dame bought into this concept of being loyal to a franchise, right? You know what I'm saying? Being loyal to a franchise to no fault, meaning there's nothing they could do wrong. Then you look at hindsight, maybe it might make your perception look better to a certain demographic of people. At the end of the day, does this make you happy? Will you reach your objective goals just having this mentality? Or you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's just about doing what you think it takes for you to be successful, and not worrying about what other people feel about it.
Right.
Because just like when you start your own business and all that, the people, it's gonna be people around you that love you and tell you, "What are you doing, man?" You know what I'm saying? Try to deter you. That's just like them telling you, "Man, you ain't doing it the right way." Indirectly. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. The people that's close to you when you doing something that most people don't do, they gonna tell you you're not doing it right because they can't do what you do. The Floyd Mayweather complex. A lot of people hate Mayweather because they can't do what he do. That's
That's
something I
facts.
noticed. That's something I noticed, bro. So life is about you putting yourself in the best situation to win, whether it's sports, whether it's business, whether you're dealing with politics, whatever it be. It's your family. You can't focus on how other people feel about you. Are you doing it the right way for them?
Right. You can't. You have to be willing to do anything. You have to be willing to compete, and not only compete but win by any means necessary. Now, of course,
This is
don't be. Don't, oh, go ahead. You got it, man.
this the big thing. How could people not? How could people love Jordan and not understand it? Jordan don't mean it all means, man. This this mantra don't even apply to Jordan. Jordan wanted to beat you at all costs, whatever he got to do. Isaiah the same mentality too. Guys gonna win. The guys competed. They're gonna win at all costs. You know, whatever
Nah,
Jordan, Isaiah, some of the biggest competitors in the game. They're gonna do what they felt they need to do to win.
that's facts. That's
That's
facts.
why they. That's why they some of the greats, huh?
You got no. You got to stay and see. Why sit there? Why even play? Why even play the game if you're not going to compete? Why even be in business if you're not going to progress? Why? I mean, with any craft that you do, why be in that selected career field that you're doing and not want to get better and do whatever is necessary to get better? I think about Drake. You know who he is, of course. I think about when he first started out south. Man, people were like, man, what is this dude doing? And man, this dude can't sing and all this other stuff. He was kind of off key and everything like that. But then I, Drake was taking singing lessons. He took singing lessons. He went to an actual vocal coach and everything to get his singing right and everything. And now look at it. I bet you the same people that were saying, "Oh, well, Drake can't sing," and what is he doing, questioning why he was doing what he was doing and everything like that. Now he was successful at it, but there was a method. There was a method to his madness.
One thing I learned just in my development of business or whatever is the people will tell you what they like about you. but you can't let them dictate what you want to be.
Yeah, that's facts.
You see what
That's
I'm
facts.
saying? Because he could have easily done that. He could have easily boxed himself into only being a rapper. And
Hmm.
think if Drake would have only boxed himself into being a rapper, how goofy it would look with him doing all this singing. But he never let the people box him into something that he didn't want to be. He said
Right.
he made it be known I'm more than this. I everybody's not gonna like me, but at the end of the day, I'm more than what people just want me to be.
And you
Something.
know what? They talk about him South doing being a ghostwriter and everything, but uh, he ghostwriting and everything like that, but he's still successful.
Yeah.
He's still successful at it though. So
So this a lot like I feel a lot of this stuff that go on, people defect their complex of not either being where they want to be in life or just always subconscious of how other people feel about them. Man, you can't be successful if you're gonna let somebody who's not putting in the work like you dictate what you do, how you think, and how you see life. You get what I'm saying? Those are the people. If you let people keep that much space in your head, you could never get where you want to go.
that's facts. That's facts right there. You can't let nobody else control your own destiny.
Yeah,
Uh, you,
because
you
I'm
know
telling
if
you, if you go out here polo and you say, "Man, I want to start this, my own mobile business, transportation,
Mhm.
whatever it may be," and you go listen to a Negro that ain't trying to do nothing, and he say, "Man, you can't do that," or you,
right,
man,
you better ignore that.
yeah, you gotta have a
Well,
mind.
soak it in like a sponge, but be like, oh, okay, thank you, and keep that shit
Yeah,
moving,
yeah. Life
or
is
take
about,
that.
and we don't apply this concept to athletes. Athletes gotta be what we want to be, or we gotta hate them. You know what I'm saying? We gotta hate them. You know what I'm saying? Just hate
Yeah,
them.
nah,
Wake up every day. Ah, I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I can't stand him. Like this ain't
yeah,
nothing but a reflection. This ain't nothing but a reflection of you not hating your life. No athlete can hold that much space. I respect it's athletes that I'm not too fond of what they've done, maybe what they've said or what they've done on the court, but
hmm
I still have enough respect if they put in a lot of work in their craft and what they do.
right.
You know, I gotta put my I gotta wave the white flag and say, look, man, this
Salute to you, Will. I see you in the building, man. Go ahead, hop in. We just chopping it up. We got that boy South Solidical up in here too. Go ahead, South Solidical.
and to me, I just want to bring this cognitive perspective of life. Life. How you see sports is how you see life. How you react to sports is in most cases how you see your life or people life around you.
What's up? What's up, Blackface? I see you in the building, brother.
But this Chauncey Billups situation is very interesting, man.
Hmm.
Like I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like it's gonna take more than them just bringing in a Chauncey Billups. Personnel is really
I I want to see who his assistant is going to be though, South. I'm wait. I'm anxious to see who his staff is. Who's going to be amongst that staff? Because
uh,
that makes a difference too, though.
it probably, yeah, I would say it do, but I don't think the biggest concern is what they're gonna do with this team. To me, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Because the type of basketball they play is not conducive to winning at the highest level. It's just not.
Right. They might sell a few tickets and we get to the. It's like they're just satisfied with just getting to the playoffs or making a
Just,
conference finals. And that's it. And that's the same thing like Philly. That's what I was saying. We can't do that with Daryl Morey. Okay, he's had faith in us, but like I was saying, like with Ben Simmons, right? Okay, he's gonna go ahead and stay. But I'm like this. Hey, you know what, South? I'm a firm believer in second chances. And even the third chance if you really if you really show me that you know that you trying. But
I
if you're not trying, hold on. If you're not applying, what is the part of being successful? You have to apply yourself. If you're not applying yourself, if you're not putting yourself in those positions, or you're not showing me that you want to get better, then you're wasting my time. Hey, Sal, as a business in business, listen. If that guy, you hire that guy and he's not doing what he's supposed to do, and he's not doing he coming in late after a while, and he's got to get these orders out, or he's coming up short or something, or he's not making he's making your business, he's being a liability to your business. You like, look, you man, I'm sorry, man, I've given you time and time again, chances after chance. You got to go. Are you gonna cut them off?
see this is the yeah, you're gonna have to, because it's all about putting yourself as a business owner in the best position to win. But this is the main thing with the subject at hand.
Hmm.
The star player and the organization have to have a, a mutual interest of trying to get to that next level. And that's what I try to get people to see in this paradox where people talk about doing it the right way and all that. You got great players that's in the prime of their career like Dame who want to reach the ultimate goal, but is the organization as adamant about that as he is? Because if they not, they cheating him. You get
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? They
Yeah,
cheating
no,
him. People don't want to have that conversation.
right.
You know, if they not doing what they can, and then I'm gonna say this as well, because I brought this up. Some
Mhm.
organizations can't get they just can't get the proper pieces to make it happen. Because I've talked about certain organizations, like they can't get the pieces. If they can't draft and develop it, they can't get the pieces. Dame Lillard didn't come to Portland by free agency. They had to draft and develop him.
Right.
You know, and people really got to start looking. That's why I say the league is in a very interesting state, man, with player empowerment, with certain organizations, not being able to pull other pieces or keep pieces to continually contend. And I know I talked to a cat named Reggie about he felt like that the league should get rid of the salary cap, but I'm like, I don't feel like that would work. The bigger markers would just sponge up more the greater talent, even though it's no salary cap. We see that in baseball. You know what I'm saying? The bigger players already want to go to bigger markets. So what makes you think they're not gonna go with no salary cap? Now the bigger markets can pay them whatever they want.
Right.
So that's a elephant in the room that I don't know what the NBA is gonna do about it. Because if you
Hmm.
got young emerging talent that don't want to play in small markets like Zion and other star players that develop in small markets, what are you gonna do to stop that?
Well, South man, I'm a firm believer in this. I'm like, okay, what is the NBA? What do teams draft on? They draft on potential, and the
Yeah.
drafting on the potential of, okay, this mega star that's coming out of college, or this mega star that's coming from overseas, or this mega star that's coming from high school, could potentially get us to where we need to be. Now, this is where I part ways with some of these guys, like a Daryl Morey, and I don't believe that he's what he say was. Maybe he has a lot to prove to me. Are you in it to truly put the banners up there, or are you truly in it just for the marketing aspect, or just to put cheeks and seats? Because both of them are important. But I think that the Philly fan, LA fans, Boston fan, any fan with their respected team want to put that banner up there, and that's important for them.
Yeah, but you know what we do as fans? We put all the pressure on the players versus the organization, the
That's
owners. Like,
facts.
mm,
That's
we
facts.
do that too much. When more or less the owner has more autonomy influence than the player. The player is just on the payroll. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The
Right.
owner decides if he want to go over the cap, the luxury cap, and pay that just to have to get more talent in.
Hmm.
But I brought up this point on T Price channel, and it was kind of like an epiphany for me. When you look, if you compare even football and basketball,
Hmm.
one of the biggest reasons why you look at a sport like basketball and teams that stay in that line of success and compete for championship, more or less will try to acquire star talent through free agency versus drafting. Because look at how the big gap between how much NBA draft affects the league short term versus the NFL. It's a polar difference. You get what I'm saying?
The polar opposite. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's a big, yeah, polar opposite. The impact of the draft affects the league so much, so insurmountably, that you don't really see a lot of teams are willing to wait a year or two.
Hmm.
Just like I use the example of Pat Mahomes. They
Hmm.
drafted Pat Mahomes, what, 2017, whatever, what is it?
Man, man, would you quit talking about my homeboy? Damn,
No,
man. No, I'm fucking with you. Go ahead, man.
I had to bring this as an example. This is
No,
how
no,
much.
no, no. I'm fucking with you, man.
I mean, he's a perfect example. This is the thing. They drafted him. He wasn't even a top draft pick. You know what I mean? He
Hmm.
dropped in the draft. Texas Tech.
Hmm.
He sat his first year under Alex. He sat most of his first year, and Alex got hurt at the end of the year. Then he came in, right, and finished off the last couple of games. Then his second year, he take them to the Super Bowl, and they went to two of the last three. What, and what, he's been to what, back to back. No, they didn't go to the Super Bowl his second year. They went to the NFC Championship, if I'm not mistaken, and lost to the Patriots. Now they went to back Super Bowls.
Yeah, they
You get
went to the AFC. Yeah, they went to the AFC the first year, lost to Patriots, then they got to
Even
the
you
Super Bowl.
talk about Brady rookie year. You see what I'm saying? Like, the impact on the draft is more insurmountable, where you don't look at teams as making a lot of moves to just bring in talented players, because how impactful the draft can be to their team if they make some of the if they have a good draft. But it's not like that in NBA. You have a lot of drafts that's just straight a wash. You know what I'm saying? Or it
Right,
might take players 3 to 5 years to develop into a even
hmm,
valuable player.
right, and that's what I was saying yesterday. So not to cut it, I'm gonna say this point real quick. That's what I'm saying. Between that 3 to 5 years, if you haven't shown any type of strides to your game or anything like that, they're pretty much gonna say, okay, hey, look, this guy has peaked. This guy is probably not going to get any more better. He's going to be stuck in his ways unless he could show a substantial amount of growth in his game. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Prime
Salute
example.
to
Look,
you, Don. Salute to you, Don Lovato. I see you in the building. I'm gonna address your comment in a minute. I gotta let Sauce Political get it in, man.
just think about the Ben Simmons situation, right? Y'all have invested more than he's been with y'all team, what, 5, 6 years?
No, no. Well, now it'll be for it was going on for his fifth year because
Yeah,
he signed a
he's
five
been
year.
there
He
for
signed a
4 years.
5 year 177 million deal.
It's been, yeah. So it's been 4 years, right? So think of y'all. To be honest with you, it's really like y'all put like 7 to 8 years to get a guy like that, because you know the process y'all took of
Hmm.
tanking to get lottery picks. So it's
Hmm.
like it's been an 8 year investment in the potential of a player like this panning out, and he's not lived up to expectation. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's a tough thing, man. And see, normally with most teams in the NFL, this doesn't happen. I mean, it might happen more or less when you have a bust quarterback or something like that, but the draft is really what creates parity in football. But see, the impact of the draft is not the same as it is in the NBA. Because you can look, franchises trade off first round draft picks like they ain't nothing in the NBA. They'll trade off three, four, five. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They have really no value unless they lottery picks. And
Right.
most of the time, the lottery, less than 50% of the lottery picks pan out to expectations. You can't even trust that most of the time. Who have more lottery busts than the NBA, man? Who has more lottery busts than the NBA? I don't think that's really one of the big issues. That's the development of players. I mean, it's been talked about before, but that's the reason why a lot of teams look look to free agency and look to trade for star players, because how do you stay at a certain level? Yeah, on the back end it could be ugly for you, but if you're not trying, what are you really doing? If you don't develop this star player and he's in his prime, well, he's just supposed to wait another 5 years. What does Dame supposed to do? Wait another 3 or 4 years? Gonna be 35, 36 years old.
Right. I know. And then by that time, you consider over the twilight zone. Twilight.
So
Twilight. Let me address this comment real quick. I think Don Lovato has a little bit on his mind. You said I feel that Jimmy Buckets and Ben Simmons could have played together. I agree with that. Jimmy Buckets was very disappointed in Simmons' play. Jimmy Bucket, Jimmy gave the Sixers an ultimatum: either Ben leaves or Jimmy leaves. Well, that was part of the situation too. There was a little bit more that goes into that Don Lovato, but Jimmy had to work. There was the stigma that was already put on Jimmy because of his personality and everything like that, and it did not mesh well with a guy like with Ben Simmons. Uh, Jimmy is a workaholic. He's the type that is no nonsense, and he's the type that doesn't believe in laziness, which means that he wants to play both ends of the floor. I mean, he's from Texas. He's from our state. You know what I'm saying, South? He wants to get it by any means necessary, and he's going to do it. Giving 110%, and not going to sell you short. That's just the way he is. And you say Kuzma hasn't improved his game either as a Laker fan. His work ethics has been poor. Either a player has it or he don't. You can't fake talent. Kuzma don't have it. I disagree with that, Don Lovato. He does have talent. It's just that he's not motivated. Okay, you got to realize that, man. A guy that comes into the league averaging 16.2 points his first year, and then jumping up to 18.7, and then going back down to 12, and then going lower than that. That doesn't that's not saying that he doesn't have any talent. There's a deeper problem that lies. It's off the court issues, and on top of that, coupled with the fact that he's unmotivated to play with certain players. Okay, when he first got there, he was supposed to spread his wings and fly with Ingram and with Lonzo Ball. They were supposed to be growing and develop, in terms of organically. But I think that once LeBron came, he felt some type of way. Felt like he was supposed to be that star. And one of the things about Kuzma is that if he doesn't get a chance to start and he doesn't start or anything like that, he feels unmotivated. Well, Kuzma, you had a chance. They gave you the keys, and you failed to deliver it. Or when the opportunity was presented, in terms of you wanted to play by yourself and everything. So it's not anything. It has nothing to do with him not being talented. It's his attitude and the motivation factor. Go ahead, Sal.
yeah, man, we had this conversation about Kuzma before.
Yeah.
Kuzma Kuzma had a lot of potential. It was a reason why when they had the option of trading, when they was took in consideration of trading off some of their valuable pieces to get AD, that they held on to Kuzma. He showed a lot of potential, but I just feel like as of right now, it seems like Kuzma is things more important to basketball. Is things more important than basketball to Kuzma, and Kuzma has improved that he's willing to play a role, a pivotal role for a team that's playing for a lot more. That he just not show. He's gotten plenty of opportunities to show that if he step up his play, that he's the opportunities were there for him with injuries, with a lot of stuff. Even this past season, he had a lot of opportunities, but he just I just feel like he only will play well in a role where the expectations are very low as a team, and he just go out there and play with the green light no matter what. I just feel like he's that type of player. You
I
know, so
I well, no, I agree with you. But I have to add this in there too as well. So I do feel like eventually with that, because you got to think about it. He was just developing, just starting to, every player's development is different. Where that person might come in right away, like a John Morant or like a Luca or like even a Trey Young, they might quickly grasp it and everything. Some players take longer than others. Uh, the late great, Kobe Bryant. Now his situation was a little bit different. He wasn't starting right off the bat or anything like that, but he was throwing a
listen,
bone every now and then. Uh,
see this is the
his development came after that, after him being put in the fire, and then he was able to make tremendous strides through his game. Everybody's development is different. Go ahead, bro.
this how I feel. A young Kobe Bryant. Kobe was never a selfish player. People lie about this. Kobe was just stubborn. That's what fueled him to be great, and it led to him, some of the failures in life. What made him great is the same thing, reason why he failed at certain things, which every great player failed. But what fueled him was his stubbornness. He was stubborn. He was so stubborn that you couldn't tell him he wouldn't be the best. He wouldn't take the last shot or whatever. And Kobe Kobe sacrifice some of his game for the betterment of the team if he felt he needed to. But this dude, I don't feel like Kuzma is a guy. He only knows how to play one way, where the expectations are low. Because the reason why I keep saying is because when you watch him play, it's like he's on the court and he don't really know his place because he's not a player that can consistently play from a standpoint that I have to sacrifice this aspect of my game and focus on this other aspect in order for the team to win. All he really shown to be good at is a volume score, the potential of being a guy that can give you 20, 25 points. But when you watch him in the game, it's like he's lost because the expectations are high. And on a team like the Lakers, you don't have the red light every night. I mean, you don't have the green light every night to just go out there and score. I mean, that's my opinion, but I watched this dude for the past couple of years, and it's like he should be a way better player than he is now. But I don't think he's a guy that form his game around sacrificing for a team that has a little bit more to play for. I think he can play for some of the bottom tier teams because a team that's not playing for nothing, the expectations are lower, and a player at his skill set can go in and put up buckets. But a team that's not asking to put up buckets, I don't think he can play for every night.
Um, okay, let me address this real quick. Now, you said this is his job. I agree. It's not like he has a second job working at Kroger. Definitely agree. You're on point with that. Kuzma needs to be more consistent. Absolutely. However, you said what can motivate him. The reason why I did that one first is that you said what can motivate him. That's the thing. That's the Achilles heel right there. It is motivation. Your attitude can make so much more of a difference. And like sounds political, just to touch on what he said. Yeah, he's not willing to sacrifice, and of course that comes with youth. He still has the maturation that he has to reach. I'll give you a prime example: Patrick Beverly. For everybody that was shitting on Patrick Beverly, saying, "Oh well, he's not a pure point guard, and he can't do this and he can't do that, and everything like that." Patrick Beverly actually was the responsibility. had the responsibility of taking out Devin Booker and taking him out of his game and being able to chase him and chase him around and everything. And he was the one that actually won that game. See, the thing about it, the reason why I mentioned a guy like Patrick Beverly is because they pay him to do one thing, which is to come in there, be a dog, defend, and hit some shots every now and then. We can do no more and no less, and he understands his role and he does what's necessary for the betterment of the team. He has not reached that maturation process, Kyle Kuzma, but that does not take away the fact that he's not talented. You know, so he still has a lot of growing to do.
Yeah, hopefully he can get on the right path. On maybe he can go to an organization that where he I don't know, but it just seemed like to me, it's his focus is not there to get better for some reason. Maybe it's because of the LeBrons and the other players that came to the team and raised expectation. But I don't feel like it was a lot of times where he had the opportunity to step up and show what you've shown that you had the potential to have, and he just come up short. You know, just come up short. Like I don't understand what's going on with the dude, man. Like you know, it's it's kind of. I mean, you could say it's kind of similar to the Ben Simmons situation. The only big difference with Ben is Ben getting paid a lot of money. That's the big thing, the elephant in the room with Ben. Ben's getting paid a lot of money. You know, I don't even think this will be a big issue with Ben if he wouldn't be getting paid all that money he getting paid. But you get paid that much money and you're not producing, man, that's a problem. It's a problem for the organization. Guess Polo, you got kicked out, Polo. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Black sports, blackface sports. Yeah, that might be what is, but you know, he that might be what it is, man. But the Lakers scenery show ain't working for him, man. And it seemed like he hasn't been focused on basketball getting better. But maybe a new scenery might show me that that's not that's not really the truth of the situation.
My bad, South.
No, you good.
Look, now I'm finna go ahead and shut this down because I got some more to get into. You already know what's going down tonight, right?
Oh, tonight, don't take fight tonight.
Man,
Who
you
fight?
already know. I see. That's why I don't even gotta tell South nothing. He a boxing savant, and that's what we about to
Oh,
get into in a whole minute, man. As well as some other stuff. Look, I got South Solidical up in here addressing some of these comments. Let's see. The only thing that will motivate him is a new scenery. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Blackface. Shout out to Blackface too. Blackface Sport with TJ. Make sure you sub to his channel too, man. He uh, definitely
oh,
a hard working man and definitely puts it down in terms of content too as well. South
oh,
Political, man. You got any closing arguments, man? Any
oh,
closing
stop
facts?
lying. Stop lying to these people, man. I ain't no boxing savant, man. Stop lying. To these people. But
Nah, yeah,
yeah,
well, nah, you need to stop lying and telling them that you ain't, because I'm telling you that you is, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So I got to let them know. But nah, I'm fucking with you, man. Nah, it was good to have South Political, man. I thank y'all for pulling up. Don Lovato, Blackface, Goat Mike, everybody that came in the building, man. I appreciate y'all showing up, man. And y'all stick around for another one, man. Polo Sports Talk in the NT. I'll let y'all.